Reagan was the first U.S. president to discuss the possibility of an alien invasion from outer space. He mentioned the possibility on 4 occasions. The frequency of the alien threat topic, both in Reagan's general conversations and speeches, indicate that Reagan seriously considered the possibility of an alien invasion and how such an event could promote world peace. Strategic Defense Initiative. President Reagan announced the SDI plan, aka Star Wars, in March 1983. In light of many of his later comments during his administration, many wondered if he intended the plan not so much for defense against the Soviets or other earthly foes, but as a defense against a possible alien threat from outer space. December 4th, 1985. Reagan spoke about his first summit with General Secretary Gorbachev at Falston High School in Maryland. He mentioned to the Russian leader during one of his 5-hour private discussions how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species from another planet outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries. Gorbachev's response on February 17, 1987. The Russian leader said to the Central Committee of the USSR's Communist Party at the Kremlin, "At our meeting in Geneva, the US president said that if the Earth faced an invasion by extraterrestrials, the United States and the Soviet Union would join forces to repel such an invasion. I shall not dispute the hypothesis, though I think it's early yet to worry about such an intrusion." May 4th, 1987. In a Q&A session which the media called the Space Invaders speech, Reagan once more made a response to the question, "What do you consider to be the most important need in international relations?" Reagan said, "What if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet?" September 15th, 1987. The senior editor of the New Republic, Fred Barnes, reported in an article that when the president and Eduard Shevardnadze, the Soviet foreign minister, met to sign the INF Treaty, Reagan wondered out loud what would happen if the world faced an alien threat from outer space. "Don't you think the United States and the Soviet Union would be together?" Shevardnadze responded in the affirmative and added, "And we wouldn't need our defense ministers to meet." September 21st, 1987. In his speech to the 42nd session of the United Nations, the president said, "In our obsession with antagonism of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond." Then he went on to pose the question, "And yet, I ask, is not an alien force already among us?" Then the president posed a second question. What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war? Reagan and the E.T. movies. Since Ronald Reagan had once been an actor, he naturally took an interest in the movies, especially anything dealing with extraterrestrial connections. But this didn't set well with the people who worked with him on a daily basis, in view of his alien threat comments. After reviewing one of his favorite movies, The Day the Earth Stood Still, the president wandered around the White House saying, "Klaatu, Barada, Nikto," and asking the staff what they thought of the movie. A bemused Colin Powell was once reported to mutter under his breath, "Here come the little green men again." Reagan and a selected audience screened the director Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. the Extraterrestrial in the White House. The story goes that at the conclusion of the E.T. movie, Reagan leaned over to Spielberg and commented, "There are only a handful of people who know the truth about this." Surprised, Spielberg started to ask the president what he meant, but was interrupted when the lights came up and several guests approached them. Later, the director refused to comment on the incident. The president's UFO sightings. According to The Shocking Truth, Ronald Reagan's Obsession with an Alien Invasion, an article by H. Hovney, Ronald Reagan reported 2 known personal UFO sightings that have since become public knowledge. According to comedian Steve Allen, Ronnie and his wife Nancy were once half an hour late to a dinner party. They were upset because they spotted a UFO flying off the California coast and stopped to check it out. In her book Lucy in the Afternoon, Lucille Ball also described the event and commented, "After he was elected president, I kept thinking about that event and wondered if he still would have won if he told everyone that he saw a flying saucer." Another incident occurred when the then Governor Reagan was flying with Bill Painter, his pilot, who backed up Reagan's account of the story. They saw a white light flying in a zigzag path from the airplane window, and the governor wanted to follow it. According to Painter, it was 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and we followed it to Bakersfield. And all of a sudden, to our utter amazement, it went straight up into the heavens. It appeared to be several hundred yards away. It was a fairly steady light until it began to accelerate, and then it appeared to elongate. The light took off. It went up at a 45-degree angle at a high rate of speed. The governor was so excited by the event that, according to Norman C. Miller, he told Nancy Reagan about the UFO, and they did personal research on UFOs, which uncovered that Egyptian hieroglyphics contained several references to UFOs. Miller realized that Reagan was sincere in his UFO belief and asked, "Governor, are you telling me that you saw a UFO?" Reagan responded by saying he was an agnostic. Jimmy Carter was the only other U.S. president to admit seeing a UFO. He filled out an official incident report on his own sighting in Leary, Georgia in 1969. The White House staffers. They had a job on their hands protecting the president from embarrassing questions from the press about his favorite topics: Armageddon, UFOs, astrology, and the ghost in the Lincoln bedroom. After his speech at Falston High School, they tried to keep him away from the students. Several science students wanted his approval to pursue UFOs as a science project. The speechwriters wrote and double-checked every statement in his speeches carefully and urged Reagan not to go off on any ad-lib topics during his talks. Soon, the staffers had Reagan running out to catch his helicopter while the rotors were starting up and bringing up music immediately after his speeches in order to forestall questions from the inquisitive media. With so many conspiracy theories out there, it's hard to keep track of them all. Welcome to What We Know, where we try to uncover the histories and mysteries of the world by presenting all different theories out there, and the only narrative we push is this. Here's what we know, make up your own mind.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.